Hey guys, how's it going? So today I am doing a review of Darksiders Genesis, a game published by THQNordic and developed by Airship Syndicate. Now, Airship Syndicate are the same guys who did Battle Chasers Night War, which is a single-player JRPG turn-based game that was released in 2017. It's not a bad game at all. I definitely enjoyed Battle Chasers Night War when it was released, and it proved that Airship Syndicate can at least make a good game. Now, Battle Chasers Night War was their only game that they've ever developed until they released Darksiders Genesis. So Darksiders Genesis is their second game that they have released. And it's nothing at all like their previous game, Battle Chasers Night War. Because Darksiders Genesis is an ARPG hack and slash game. That's what THQNordic claims that it is. But we will get to that in just a second. Now, I was given code for Darksiders Genesis 7 days before the official release of the game, so that allowed me to play the game through from the beginning till the very end before I even released this video. So I have completed the entire game. It took me 17 hours, and I am obviously giving you my opinion from the perspective of someone who has played through the entire game. So first off, a little bit of a background on Darksiders and the Darksiders franchise. I played Darksiders 1 and Darksiders 2 like way back when I was still in high school, and I really enjoyed those games, especially Darksiders 2. Darksiders 2 is a very good game. I would even recommend that you play it today still, even though obviously the graphics are a little bit outdated, but the actual gameplay and the entire game is just a really fun game, to be honest. Then we jump forward to 2018 when Darksiders 3 was released, and I also have a review of Darksiders 3 on my channel, and to be honest, it is nothing like Darksiders 1 or Darksiders 2. It's just not really a good game, to be honest, and I explained as much in my Darksiders 3 video. So it's pretty clear that already from Darksiders 1, Darksiders 2 until Darksiders 3, they completely lost their way. They didn't make a better game than Darksiders 1 or Darksiders 2. They made an inferior game. So I am sad to report that unfortunately it is the same situation with Darksiders Genesis. In my opinion, Darksiders Genesis is not a very good ARPG. Now, they claim that it is an ARPG. Like, when you think about ARPGs, you think about Diablo 2, you think about Titan Quest, you think about Path of Exile. All of those are very good ARPG games. I would completely recommend that you play any of those three ARPG games that I have just mentioned. But Darksiders Genesis is not at all like any of those three games, despite THQNordic claiming them to be an ARPG game. First off, it plays like an ARPG game, but it doesn't have any of the classic RPG features like experience points, talent tree, weapons. I mean, the game doesn't even have weapons. There's no skill points, there's no talent tree. You can't basically customize your character or progress your character at all, except for unlocking the different, I could say, attacks. Like basically, as you see here with the gameplay, you play as either Strife or War. It's basically the two brothers. Obviously, I'm not going to explain the entire Darksiders background, but basically there's a bunch of horsemen and you play as two of the different horsemen. You can switch between them by pressing V on your keyboard. And war isn't that powerful. Strife is incredibly powerful. You will see throughout the gameplay that the game is so poorly designed that when you are playing as Strife, you can actually position yourself in a way so that you can kill bosses, like literally boss fights, huge boss fights that you encounter once per level or per map. You can kill that boss without taking any damage at all, simply by cheesing the fight with Strife. So obviously the developers haven't really thought out the entire map design and how the characters work, because you can kill entire bosses without taking a single hit simply by cheesing the fight. And honestly, as you will see by the gameplay, that doesn't just happen with a single boss. You can do that with basically each and every boss. You will also see a bunch of bugs and glitches, more than like probably 5 or 10 times through my entire playthrough of the entire game, of completing the game. My character got stuck probably 5 or 10 times. When you get stuck, sometimes you can jiggle about and get out of getting stuck, but many other times I've had to simply press exit, go to the main menu and go back into the game, which meant that I lost progress. So there's a bunch of different bugs and glitches in the game that actually cause you to lose progress. So those are game breaking bugs. So honestly, the developers could have done a lot better quality assurance when it comes to the game, and just like beta testing before actually releasing the game. Now those might be fixed way down the line somewhere, but it will definitely not be fixed on day one, since I am playing a day one build of the game. But let me get back to the RPG factor of the game. So you can't gain experience, you can't gain levels, there's no talent trees, there's no skills basically. You do get certain attacks, like you can press Q, then you do a kind of a melee attack, and you can basically pick up different ammo for your guns. So you can like shoot fire ammo, you can shoot huge cannon ammo, you can shoot lightning ammo, stuff like that. But that's not really skills. I mean, it's just ammo. You're just using different kinds of ammo. So that's not at all anything to do with RPG, since you're not customizing or progressing your own character. The only way to progress your characters and make them stronger is through picking up like little medallions almost, and then socketing those medallions into a kind of I don't really know what to call it. There's just slots, and you socket your medallions into these slots, and if you match up the sword icon with a sword icon medallion, then you get a little bit of a bonus. If you match the heart icon with a heart medallion, you get a bonus, stuff like that. There's like 3 or 4 different kinds of medallions that you can pick up. So that's basically it. You just pick up medallions and you slot them into this thing, and it increases the stats for both characters. So it doesn't just increase one character, it increases the stats for both characters. But honestly, it doesn't make a huge difference. Way at the end of the game, like at chapter 9 into the game, I removed all of the medallions that were socketed into my thing, and I was still able to beat the bosses. I was still able to kill all of the enemies. So honestly, all of those different medallions, they give like, if you will read on the medallions, it gives like 2% increased attack and stuff like that, 5% increased health, small benefits like that. So honestly, it's a very mediocre system to increase the power of your guys, and honestly it doesn't even come close to what you would really expect from an RPG, a true action RPG like Diablo 2 or Titan Quest or anything like that, where you actually have experience, you have stats, you have talent trees, you have skill points, you have all of that. This game has none of that. So to be honest, it's not an ARPG, it's more like just a straight out hack and slash game in an isometric view. So yeah, I'm not at all happy with the game pretending to be like Diablo 2. Like, I was honestly really excited to play a game like this. When I watched gameplay and saw screenshots, I was really quite anticipating playing the game, because I thought, wow, this would be awesome. It's like Diablo but set in the Darksiders universe, which is like also a really macabre kind of a setting, almost like Diablo also, because there's a lot of demons, there's a lot of killing demons and skeletons and evil stuff. But honestly, I was quite disappointed by the character customization that this game has to offer. So yeah, unfortunately there's quite a lot about this game that disappointed me. The fact that there's no character progression, as I just explained, the fact that it's quite littered with bugs and glitches, and sometimes an enemy will throw an attack at you and you will dodge out of the way, but it will still hit you. Also, the fact that Strife, the guy with the guns, is way more powerful than the other character that you can switch to, which is War, because he uses melee weapons and he just absolutely gets pounded into the ground, whereas Strife can just dodge around and kill any boss with basically no effort at all. So yeah, those are the bad things about the game. The good things about the game: it's a pretty game. There's a lot of pretty scenes in the game, even though it's not like your traditional type of pretty, like walking in a forest or in a meadow or anything like that. But the dungeons and the fortresses and all of those types of environments are very nice. It looks nice with all of the lava and the stuff like that. And then another good part about the game is the gameplay. The gameplay is very smooth. Fighting bosses, fighting enemies. If you don't cheese the bosses, the boss fights are entertaining. It's fun. You do feel as if the bosses do have impact, because when they hit you, you can only really take about maybe 3 hits from an actual boss before you die. Even though dying in the game, you have basically no penalty. When you die, you lose like a small amount of health, and you can honestly die like 7 or 8 times before you actually die. And throughout the entire game, like I completed the entire game obviously, throughout the entire game I didn't die once. Like literally die. Like you can die and then you can die, and I didn't die once through the entire game. So the game is quite easy. I played it on normal, so it's quite easy. I'm certain if you played on, I think like Fanatical or something like that is the hardest difficulty. I'm sure if you play it on that difficulty it will be a little bit more of a challenge, but honestly on normal I didn't die once through the entire game. So that points to the fact that the game is quite easy, and there's really, as I said, no penalty when you actually die or when you fall off the side of the map or anything like that, or you get killed by a boss. You just like lose a little bit of your health bar. So yeah, honestly, like I said, I was really looking forward to this game. simply because Darksiders 3 was a real disappointment, and I really enjoyed Darksiders 1 and 2, so I thought that maybe Darksiders Genesis will return to being a good installment in the franchise like Darksiders 1 and 2 was, but unfortunately I am sad to report that this is yet again another disappointment in the franchise. If you're looking for a good Darksiders game, rather go play Darksiders 2. I'm certain that you can pick it up for like $5 or something like that, because I mean, it's like a 10-year-old game. It's really quite an old game, but honestly, you would be able to enjoy that game much more than you're going to be able to enjoy Darksiders 3 or Darksiders Genesis 4. And Darksiders 3 is selling for like $30 right now, and Darksiders Genesis, I think on launch, is $25, which isn't a huge asking price, but to be honest, I did not enjoy the game, unfortunately. It's not a bad game by any stretch of the imagination, but like I said, it claims to be an ARPG, but it's just not an ARPG. It's like you have to remove the RPG from the ARPG, so it's just an A. It's not an ARPG, to be honest. There's almost no RPG mechanics in the game, and I really wanted the game to have character progression and experience and weapons, different cool weapons that you could pick up, and a talent tree and stats and just all of that stuff that makes other games like Diablo 2 and Titan Quest such amazing games. So yeah guys, that's pretty much it. Unfortunately, Darksiders Genesis I did not enjoy. So yeah, thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you next time. And thanks to THQNordic for providing me with this code. I really appreciate it.